Today, I journey into the very heart of San Salvador, where history, faith, and culture converge in stories carved into stone and illuminated through light. I'll stand within Plaza Libertad, the birthplace of Salvadoran independence, where the first cry for liberty echoed through the nation and altered the course of its history forever. I'll also step inside the remarkable Iglesia El Rosario, a sanctuary unlike any other, where stark brutalist concrete gives way to breathtaking cascades of kaleidoscopic stained glass. From monuments honoring heroes to architecture that challenges convention, this is a journey into the very foundations of a nation. Before we begin, I'd like to offer my heartfelt thanks to some truly exceptional supporters: Carol, Laura, Terry, Karen, and Will. Your kindness, generosity, and encouragement continue to make these journeys possible, and I'm deeply grateful for your unwavering support. Last week's top comment came from Bree, who proved that sometimes the simplest words say the most. I'm delighted that so many of you connected with the story and enjoyed exploring Panchimalco alongside me. It's a charming town with a remarkable history, and, in my opinion, it deserves far more attention than it receives. My hope is that the video inspires a few more travelers to venture beyond the usual destinations and discover it for themselves. And to everyone who continues to share your thoughts, thank you. I read every comment, and they mean more than you might realize. Please keep them coming. I've started a channel membership. If you're interested, click subscribe and then join for more details. Would you visit San Salvador? Let me know in the comments. While you're at it, please click the like button. It helps, more than you know. Welcome to Plaza Libertad, in the heart of the historic center. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see what I'm looking at, but I'm not going to linger here long. Just there's a lot going on and I'm getting a lot of stares. I don't feel unsafe. It's a lot of staring. Plaza Libertad, or Liberty Square, stands as a site of profound historical and archaeological significance, widely revered as the cradle of San Salvador's origin and, by extension, the genesis of the Salvadoran nation. Enveloped in timeless architectural elegance and marked by European influence, the square flourishes today as a vibrant cultural heart where art, gastronomy, and the rhythms of daily life converge in celebration of heritage and community. At the core of the plaza stands the majestic Monument to the Heroes, erected to commemorate the centenary of the first cry of independence in 1811, a pivotal moment in the region's path toward sovereignty. Pay close attention to the individuals remembered here. Figures such as Jose Matias Delgado, revered as the father of the fatherland, and Manuel Jose Arce, who would become the first president of the Federal Republic of Central America. These are more than names and faces etched in stone. They are echoes of those whose visions and actions helped shape the destiny of a nation. Crowned by the ethereal figure of an angel of freedom, arms outstretched with laurel wreaths in hand, the monument rises as a resplendent symbol of liberty and enduring national spirit. More than a sculpture, it is a living testament to the courage and aspirations of a people who dared to dream of freedom. Situated in the very heart of San Salvador, Plaza Libertad endures as both a historical landmark and a cherished gathering place, uniting past and present in a space where memory, identity, and community continue to thrive.
지친 하루 끝 문득 들려온 너의 목소리 따뜻한 그 말 조용히 피어난 노란 봄 웃는 네 모습을 보면 괜히 심장이 빨라지고 너랑 걷는 이 길 위에 시간이 멈췄으면 해 눈빛 한 번이면 충분해 그 어떤 말보다 우린 깊어져 지금 이 느낌 그대로 계속 바라볼래 조금만 더 이렇게 걷자 지금이 너무 좋아서 이젠 말해도 될 것 같아 날라간 맘을 내가 먼저 다가가도 돼 그냥 옆에 있고 싶은 거야 I just wanna be close to you 그냥 이대로 자연스럽게 가끔 말 돌려도 한 번쯤은 웃어줘 괜히 했고 싫은 뜻뿐만 들어도 나다 계속 붙어있고 싶다 반짝
I have returned to my favorite coffee shop because El Salvador heat remains undefeated. The vibes in this place are so strong, they might actually power the entire historic center. Now, you know me. I don't do coffee. Coffee and I have had a long-standing agreement to stay out of each other's lives. But this place does fusion, and somehow I've ended up drinking café con limonada, coffee mixed with lemonade, which sounds deeply suspicious and yet is somehow one of the most delicious things I've ever tasted. In the early 19th century, the destiny of Central America was irrevocably shaped by the ambitions of one French emperor. When Napoleon Bonaparte invaded Spain in 1808 and deposed King Ferdinand VII, he replaced him with his brother, Joseph, an affront the colonies refused to accept. In the absence of a legitimate monarch, a tide of revolutionary fervor surged through the Americas. Independence, once a distant dream, now pulsed in the hearts of a restless people. On November 5, 1811, the first spark of Salvadoran independence was struck. On November 5, 1811, Jose Matias Delgado, who's revered as the father of the fatherland, joined by his nephew, Manuel Jose Arce, as well as some 400 other armed patriots, seized control of San Salvador. They compelled the colonial intendant to resign, a bold act remembered in the first cry of independence, now immortalized in Plaza Libertad. Those Spanish forces swiftly crushed the uprising within a month, and a decade would pass before freedom was won. The year 1811 remains indelibly etched into the soul of El Salvador, a symbol of defiance and the unyielding pursuit of liberty. By 1821, El Salvador was free from Spain. But there were important questions that needed to be answered, like, what does freedom look like? Does it look like an independent El Salvador, or does it look like a United States of Central America? In 1823, the provinces of El Salvador, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Honduras, and Nicaragua joined to form the Federal Republic of Central America, with Manuel Jose Arce as its first president. They envisioned a future bound by common purpose and strength. But the dream of unity proved fragile. Political discord, regional rivalries, and clashing ideologies soon eroded the foundation of the young republic. By 1841, El Salvador declared its independence from the Federation, marking the end of its unraveling and the conclusion of a bold experiment in Central American unity.
Just made you more confused. You just need to see how lovely, how lovely, how lovely it is for you. Got stuck, you went looking for clues, but that just made you more confused. You just need to see how lovely, how lovely, how lovely it is for you. The waiting's done and you find your home right here. The light goes off and it clicks, you figure out. You put it off, yeah you did. Life didn't fall apart with it. Couldn't miss what was intended. Let the fears fly away, ride it out like a wave. Call it in on your favors, call them in. Let the fears fly away, ride it out like a wave. Allow yourself some grace, you can have it. Just like the wind, just let it pass through. Just put it past you, you do what you do.
Adjacent to Plaza Libertad stands the rear facade of one of San Salvador's most iconic religious landmarks, surpassed in prominence only by the Metropolitan Cathedral itself, Iglesia El Rosario, the Church of the Rosary. I mentioned that this is the back of the church for a practical reason. I've seen more than a few visitors standing here in confusion, wondering why the church appears closed despite signs insisting otherwise. Beneath this unassuming exterior lies a remarkable history. This structure rises from the very ground where San Salvador's original Metropolitan Cathedral once stood, first constructed in 1808. But this is the Ring of Fire, a land shaped as much by the restless movements of the earth as by the hands of its people. In 1855, a powerful earthquake severely damaged the cathedral, and in 1873, another delivered the final blow, leaving the structure beyond repair. A new Metropolitan Cathedral would later rise 2 blocks away, while the remains of the original site lingered in silence here for nearly a century, a quiet reminder of both loss and impermanence. Then, in 1971, the space was reborn with the completion of this extraordinary edifice, transforming a place once defined by ruin into one of the most distinctive architectural works in the country. From the outside, El Rosario hardly resembles a traditional church. Its facade is stark, almost industrial. And if it wasn't for the towering cross, one might mistake it for a civic building. Brutalist architecture, which emerged in the mid-20th century, is defined by its stark use of raw, exposed concrete and brick, paired with austere geometric forms. Emphasizing function over ornamentation, the style often lays bare a building's structural elements, favoring honesty in materials over decorative embellishment. Yet, such an approach is rare in ecclesiastical design, making this church a striking and uncommon example, one of only a handful in the world to embody brutalism's uncompromising vision within a sacred space. Once you step inside this church, everything changes. Unlike the Baroque ornamentation and Gothic spires and neoclassical columns that are so typical of churches in this region, this space feels strikingly contemporary. Yet, traces of tradition remain. There are a few effigies of saints, but far fewer than I've seen in other Catholic churches. Cherrywood pews line the nave, and the black and white tiled floor unfolds in a precise checkerboard pattern. The most notable feature of the church lies above the sanctuary. Stained glass windows, imported from France, stretch in a sweeping arc. But instead of portraying images of saints or angels, their geometric designs shimmer like something out of the Matrix. As light passes through them, it spills into the sanctuary in kaleidoscopic rainbows. The step design is called the staircase to heaven. The mosaic in stained glass on the wall creates the eye of God.
The space is open, fluid, and welcoming. There are no pillars obstructing your view of the altar. There are no walls separating the nave from the transept or the vestibule. This is not a space defined by boundaries. It's a space defined by light, clarity, and the invitation to simply be.
Though its architecture may defy convention, Iglesia El Rosario remains deeply and unmistakably Dominican. The church is dedicated to Our Lady of the Rosary, one of the many revered titles of the Virgin Mary. This devotion traces back to Saint Dominic, or Dominique de Guzman, the 12th century Castilian priest who founded the Dominican order. According to tradition, it was to him that the Virgin appeared in a vision, entrusting him with the rosary as a spiritual weapon against heresy.
A prominent image of Archbishop Oscar Anolfo Romero stands front and center, a poignant reminder of his profound significance to the city, to the country, and to the world.
Along the far side of the church unfolds the Via Crucis, or Stations of the Cross, reimagined through a strikingly modern and compelling artistic lens. Here, the sacred journey is portrayed through abstract sculptures crafted from carved pumice stone, black wrought iron, and exposed rebar set against a textured cement backdrop. The result is both unconventional and deeply evocative, a fusion of faith and modern expression.
But you could be there feeling like yourself. I could be there, be somebody else. We could be alright. You could be there feeling like yourself. I could be there, be somebody else. We could be alright. No looking back, eyes on the road. Only thinking about where we're supposed to go. Don't have a map, just go with the flow. There's certain things we're not supposed to know. 4 miles, that's all that we have left now. That's all that we had time for. Don't know just where we'll arrive. But you could be there feeling like yourself. I could be there, be somebody else. And we could be alright. You could be there feeling like yourself. I could be there, be somebody else. And we could be alright. But you could be there feeling like yourself. I could be there, be somebody else. We could be alright. You could be there feeling like yourself.
The Via Crucis is a traditional Catholic devotion that meditates upon the final hours of Jesus Christ's earthly life, guiding the faithful through moments of suffering, sacrifice, and reflection. While the traditional journey consists of 14 stations, a 15th station has been added here, the resurrection of Christ, rendered in iron. Rather than concluding in sorrow, the path culminates in triumph, a final reminder that beyond sacrifice lies redemption, and beyond suffering, hope. Within the crypt, in the dark depths of the church, lie multiple tombs, each enshrining a legacy that shaped the soul of El Salvador. One holds Ruben Martinez Bonnes, the visionary architect and sculptor whose hands and mind gave rise to the church itself. Having passed away only recently at the age of 94, Martinez Bonnes now rests within the very walls he once imagined, forever united with his masterpiece. Here, his spirit endures not only in memory, but in form, as stone and light bear witness to the artist's eternal bond with his creation. Another belongs to Jose Matias Delgado, the 19th century priest and physician revered as the father of the Salvadoran fatherland, depicted in Plaza Libertad's majestic monument to the heroes. His unwavering resolve helped ignite the flame of independence from Spanish rule.
As I walk through this space that's new to me, never seen it before, I am struck by a feeling of something very old, yet very familiar. This structure predates my lifetime by many decades, yet its open and minimalist design echoes the architectural style of modern megachurches in the United States today. Martinez Bonnes was a visionary ahead of his time.
As I depart San Salvador's historic heart, Plaza Libertad reminds me of the courage of those who first dreamed of freedom. Iglesia El Rosario, with its stark walls and radiant light, shows how faith and vision can redefine tradition. Here, where past and present meet, liberty, devotion, and culture still pulse through this city's veins. Stay curious, be inspired, find freedom, wander elsewhere. I'll see you in the next one.